Good day. So, tapos nang ibinahagi ng aking co-reporter ang unang types ng assessment, which is the traditional and authentic assessment. Ngayon ay pagpapatuloy ko ang iba pang mga types ng assessment. Pangalawang type ay ang formative evaluation and summative evaluation. So, assessment for learning pertains to the use of formative evaluation to determine and improve students' learning outcomes. On the other hand, assessment of learning uses summative evaluation, which provides evidence of students' level of achievements in relation to curricular learning outcomes. Ang ibig sabihin nun ay ginagamit ang formative evaluation and summative evaluation to determine if the students learn something within the discussion or within the quarter. So, it assess the students' learning if they have learned something about the lesson. Formative assessment, it provides information to be checked, used as feedback to modify the teaching and learning activities in which they are engaged. So, the formative assessment, it assess the students' learning. So, it gives feedback. So, ito yung magiging resulta ng mga nangyari sa buong klase. Dito malalaman kung ang estudyante ay natuto nga ba sa kanilang klase. So, ang formative assessment ay may tatlong points of instruction. Una, mali yung nakalagay dyan. Una ay during instruction. Ang during instruction, ito ay formative assessment na ginagawa sa during instruction. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi pa tapos ang isang buong klase, hindi pa tapos ang isang buong discussion. Sa gitna ng discussion na yon ay magbibigay ng quizzes ang teacher. Yun ay tinatawag na during discussion or during instruction na formative assessment. Pangalawa ay between lessons. So, mapapansin natin noon na kahit ngayon, na bago magpatuloy sa next lesson natin, ay magbibigay ng quiz ang ating teachers. So, ito ay tinatawag na between lessons na formative assessment. Pangatlo naman ay ang between units. So, pagkatapos ng ating chapters na ating pinag-aralan at ating napag-aralan sa klase, magbibigay naman ng between units na formative assessment ang ating teacher. So, ito yung parang magiging long quiz. Next is summative assessment. Summative assessments are conducted at the end of each section or unit to find out students' achievements. Example, final exam. Summative assessment is summary of evidences indicate extent of learning achievements which can classify for certification or giving of honors or awards. So, ang summative assessment, ito yung final exam. Dito natin malalaman kung yung estudyante ay mayroon nga bang natututo. At dito yung basihan kung ang isang estudyante ay dapat bang bigyan ng rewards o magiging parte ba ito ng honor list. Ito na yung mga ginagawa natin pagkatapos ng whole discussion or pagkatapos ng isang quarter na binibigyan tayo ng long quiz, exams. Ito na yon ang summative test or summative assessment. Pangatlo sa types of assessment is norm and criterion reference assessment. Una, norm reference assessment. It gives us information on what the students can perform by comparing to another students. It describes students' performance in class by comparing to others. So, dito sa norm reference assessment, dito natin malalaman kung ang isang estudyante ay kaya bang i-perform ang particular na bagay kung ito ay kukumpara sa isa pang estudyante. Dito ay ginagawa ang comparing para malaman kung sino yung mas magaling. Ito yung dito natin irarank ang students. Next is the criterion reference assessment. It describes the performance of the students without reference to the performance of others, which uses preset criteria or predefined and absolute standards or outcomes. Dito sa Criterion Reference Assessment, malalaman natin ang performance ng isang estudyante na hindi kailangan ikumpara sa iba pang estudyante. Dito ay mayroong criteria na sinusunod at standard upang malaman natin kung ano nga ba ang kayang gawin ng isang estudyante without comparing to other students. Both methods are very useful in assessing learning outcomes. The first one tells what an individual can do in comparing by others. And the second one is the specific performance in what an individual can do without comparing others. The fourth type of assessment is the contextual assessment and the decontextual assessment. First, contextual assessment. The focus is on the student's construction of functioning knowledge and the student's performance in application of knowledge in the real-world context of the discipline area. It uses performance-based tasks which are authentic in nature. So, contextual knowledge, as mentioned, it is the application of knowledge in the real world. It is to let the students, it is a type of assessment in assessing the students to apply their knowledge into the real world. Next is the contextualized assessment. Includes written exam and term papers, which are suitable for assessing declarative knowledge and do not necessarily have a direct connection to the real-life context. It focuses on declarative and or procedural knowledge in artificial situation detached from the real work context. So, opposite ito sa contextualized assessment. Ang decontextualized assessment, it includes written exams. So, written exams doesn't usually focuses on the real-life context. It is only applied in the schools and offices without considering the real life in the outside world. The fifth type of assessments are analytic and holistic assessment. First, analytic assessment. It refers to the specific approach in the assessment of learning outcomes. So, analytic assessments provides detailed feedbacks on each aspect of the task. So, as you can see in the table shown, each criterion is scored separately and the total scores determines the overall performance. Ang holistic assessment naman refers to global approach in assessment of a student's learning outcomes. Holistic assessment offers a single score reflecting the overall quality. As you can see in the table shown, the overall score is based on an impression of the essay as a whole without separating specific components. At yun lamang po, maraming salamat.